It's hard to beat the same team 3 times in one season, but that's exactly what FAU did to Temple.
As for the women, some Kayla Turner heroics helped the Owls get by a Tulane in overtime, but a dominant third quarter from UTSA sent the Owls packing in round 2.
And I'm Pat Dallahan in Birmingham, Alabama at the American Conference Championships as both the Temple men's and women's basketball seasons have come to a close. I'll have more later.
I'm Miles Thurston live from the Learcore Center. Track and field is no stranger to international athletes. The Owls have one freshman who has stood out early on. I'll take a look at her long journey to Philadelphia. Our Sports Update is live and starts right now.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Owl Sports Update. Alongside Jackson Batchelor, I'm Emily Dino Terrace.
March Madness season is almost upon us, but let's start with the conference tournaments, specifically the American. Both men's and women's hoops punched their tickets and took the trip to Birmingham to compete against their AAC foes. We'll start with the men's team and a first-round matchup. It wasn't easy, but the men's team squeezed into the 10th and final spot in the postseason tournament. The Owls made it interesting by losing 7 of their last 8. In round 1, the Temple Owls face off against the fellow Owls in 7-seeded FAU. It was a 9:30 Wednesday night tip-off at Legacy Arena. It was a tough contest throughout the first half, but here, Kanan Carlisle comes up with the loose ball and maneuvers his way past Darian Ford for the lay-in. He had 12 in this one. Early second half, 35 all. Owls of FAU spreading the ball around until Nicolo Moretti takes matters into his own hands and beats Jordan Mason to the basket. Moretti led all scorers with 19. Final 2 minutes and the Owls need a basket. A give-and-go leads to a contested finish for Babatunde Dorodola as 2 of his 8 points come in the clutch. The pressure is on for FAU. Temple almost comes up with that oh-so-needed steal, but instead, Moretti splits multiple defenders and finishes through contact. Owls down by 2 possessions and no timeouts left for them. Just like that, the season is over. 63-59, your final score.
Day 11 didn't happen, and you hurt for them because I think they built relationships off the court that will last a lifetime, and you wish that resulted in more wins, to be blunt. But I'm grateful for this group. They came in and worked every day.
Nicolo Moretti went an impressive 7 for 9 from the field, including 3 for 3 from distance. Again, he led all scorers with 19. As for Temple, Darian Ford led the Owls with 16 points, but went 6 for 15 from the field. The Owls, they trailed for most of the second half and just couldn't get that steal at the end. So that means they're swept on the season series 3-0 to FAU.
It was a real rough end for the men. This was their 8th loss in 9 games to end the year, and it's the 2nd straight season Temple gets bounced in the first round of the postseason tournament. Our man Pat Dallahan is in Birmingham with a recap.
The 130th season of Temple basketball came to a close Wednesday night. They fall to Florida Atlantic for the 3rd time this season. This was a team that was fighting for a spot in solo 2nd place a month ago on February 11th. They close out the season losing 8 of their last 9 games. Not what you want to see if you're a Temple fan, not what we wanted to see as people covering the program from a year that really saw so many ups and downs. A tumultuous season for Temple comes to an end here tonight in the first round of the American Conference Tournament. I'm Pat Dallahan reporting in Birmingham, Alabama at Legacy Arena at the American Conference Championships. Guys, back to you in the studio.
Let's take it back 6 hours at the same place for the women's portion of the tournament. The Owls fell short to UTSA Road Runners Wednesday afternoon in the second round action. At Legacy Arena, the Owls took on 6-seeded UTSA. Starting in the first quarter, the Roadrunners shot 50% from the three. Uriana Hardaway had 17 for the day. Once again, Hardaway dishes it in with a quick pass to the wing for another three, ending the first quarter 21-19 UTSA. Now in the second quarter, despite the Owls being out-rebounded 44-27, Molina gets the putback, ending the half 26-25. Real action starts in the fourth quarter, a double team at the top of the key from the Owls, but they can't stop UTSA, lobbing it into Adara Udo. Both teams had combined 9 turnovers at the end of the fourth quarter. This jumper from Taylor ended the scoring drought, and it's back to a 7-point game. Turner knocks down a 3 to make it a 2-possession game with just 10 seconds remaining, but it wasn't enough to close the gap. Final score and final game for the season, 59-51 UTSA.
I still stand by my kids and think we have a very good team and we'll be ready for next year. That's just a part of what head coach Diane Richardson had to say during the post-game news conference. Pat Delahan was on the call for the season-ending defeat, and he was also courtside for us with insight after Temple's final game of the season.
Yeah, the Temple women's season had officially come to a close, finishing the year with a 15-17 record. It was a really up and down season. Diane Richardson just told us in the press conference room that she was proud of how the team fought, with only one loss in their conference regular season schedule coming by more than single digits. Obviously, the loss last week to USF. And the difference between yesterday's effort and a win over Tulane and today against UTSA was just their energy. It's hard to win 2 games in a row, especially when one of them was an overtime thriller like yesterday. There was just no energy to be found in the second half. Temple shooting just 14% from the floor in the third quarter. It's not enough if you want to move on in a tournament like this. Reporting from Birmingham, Alabama, I'm Pat Delahan.
We are now up against our first break of the afternoon, but don't go anywhere. It's that time of year again. Football is back on 10th and Diamond for its first spring practice. And we'll also talk about a standout senior for a women's lacrosse team that is off to its best start in years. We're back in 90 seconds.
Welcome back to Owl Sports Update. It's not officially spring yet, but that hasn't stopped Temple football from starting off its spring off-season. On Tuesday, the Owls began their 5-week schedule. Of course, it's much too early to really get a feel for the team, but in Casey Keeler's second season, you could tell he's excited about his roster, especially with how they stack up against other teams in the American Conference.
I mean, look at us now, though. I mean, this whole conference is all jumbled up. Like, all the top teams, their coaches left, and most of the players left, too. We have as many starters back, if not more starters back, than probably anybody. Plus, we also had 2 of the best classes, high school and transfer class, of anybody. Like, we shouldn't be thinking this is impossible now. We should be thinking this is very possible. So I think there's a little bit different mindset of this, hey, you know, we're going to try to do the unthinkable, to now it's very thinkable.
Let's shift gears to a team is a bit more than halfway through its 2026 season. Women's lacrosse is undefeated no more. The Owls lost their first game of the year to Rutgers on Saturday in a 17-16 nail-biter. Lexi Culp had 2 goals and 1 assist in the loss. She leads the team in points, which is just one reason why this team is playing so well. The Owls are 8-1 for the first time in more than a decade. And senior attack Lexi Culp is just one of the many reasons why. Her 37 points not only lead the team, it's also second best in the conference.
I mean, honestly, I just play the game that's on the field for my teammates, and this year was a different role. But I'm happy to play whatever role the team needs, and this year was a little more goal scoring, so I stepped into that.
Culp started slow in the collegiate level. She played in just 8 games in her first 2 years. As a junior, she started every game and picked up 26 points along the way. And now as a senior, Culp already has more goals in 9 games than she did all of last season.
I mean, it feels awesome. Freshman and sophomore year, we learned a lot. I learned personally a lot from the older girls, and then stepping into this role was just great.
Lexi's rise in her play has been phenomenal, and she's the example of someone who just works hard and has stayed with it from the moment she got here till now.
Culp attended Cardinal O'Hara High School, where she was actually teammates with current Owls defender Anastasia Simonera.
Me and Anna actually danced in like kindergarten together too, and we grew up playing sports in different townships, so we knew each other throughout then, and then we played club, so it's really awesome to have a friend to go through all of this with.
It's been awesome. Lexi's a great player. I love watching her grow her game, and I love seeing her on the field. She's an attacker, I'm defense, so we're always just helping one another out.
The first stage of Culp's senior season is wrapped up. Now the conference play is over. There are 7 games to go, with the entire American Conference schedule still sitting in front of her. At 8-1, this is Temple's best start dating back to 2015. They already have twice as many wins as a year ago. Temple is scoring about 3 more goals per game, and the Owls are giving up 6 fewer goals per game. And they're not turning the ball over nearly as much either. These are 3 reasons why the Owls are gaining national attention.
After a rocky start to its season, the women's tennis team is finding ways to win. The Owls are doing it on the road. Owl Sports Update Xavier Johnson is at the studio set with the details.
The women's tennis team has had an unusual season so far. We are in mid-March, and Owls still are waiting to play on their new home court. But overall, these Road Warriors have been strong, no matter where they seem to play. Temple women's tennis knows exactly what it's like playing on the road, whether they like it or not. Since the start of the winter season, Temple has played 10 teams, and 9 of those matchups have been outside of Philadelphia.
So it's like excitement every time, like a new place. But then it's also like we're missing like kind of like the home games, like the crowd like cheering for us.
So let's get our doubles team down there.
Temple was shut out in its first 3 matches in January, but some of those results might have been more about who Temple was playing as opposed to how the Owls were playing.
Now, and those teams we played are very good. Like a couple of them are typically nationally ranked teams. So the competition was very stiff.
The Owls did not have the best start to their season, winning only 1 of their first 5 matchups. But since then, the Owls are 4-1, including their dominant 4-0 shutout against Bucknell. The team all agreed that the most notable adjustment they needed to make was actually quite simple: continue to show up for each other with great energy. Let's go! Coach Brandes also mentioned the team's improvement with its doubles matchups. During the last 7 matches, the Owls are 4-0 when winning doubles point, and 1-2 when losing that all-important point. So much success on the road, and come mid-March, the good news continues when the Owls finally play at home on their new courts when Norfolk State comes to town on the 19th. That home meet against Norfolk State is the first of a nice homestand. The Owls are scheduled to play 5 of their next 6 matchups on campus. Their only road trip is a short ride over to Penn. Reporting from the studio set, I'm Xavier Johnson. Back to you guys at the desk.
This past Saturday, the women's fencing team took a short trip to the suburbs for the NCAA Regional Championships. Temple brought 12 fencers and 3 managed to secure a top 10 finish, including Renee Oman and Anoise Wanji. Sophomore saberist Alexandra Papapetropoulou placed the highest for her team, ending the day in 4th place. On Tuesday, Alexandra was also named first team saber spot for her 4th place finish. This was her first all-regional honor in her career.
It's time for break number 2. When we come back, we'll talk about a newcomer on the women's track team who is adjusting well to the cold winters on North Broad. We'll also focus on a member of the gymnastics team who makes a very difficult task look relatively easy. See you in a minute 30.
Welcome back. Many Division I athletes travel long distances to compete.
Live from the Liacouras Center is Owl Sports Update's Miles Thurston to elaborate on one track star doing just that.
Thanks, Jackson. Track and field is a notable warm weather sport. For someone used to palm trees and ocean breeze, it can be hard to adjust to the snow and wind chill. But for freshman Kimari Hana, the adjustment has not been much of a problem. Freshman Kimari Hana has emerged early on as a leader on the Owls track team. Hailing all the way from the Bahamas, she made the trip to North Broad to compete at the Division I level.
My coach from back home that I really trust, he recommended that I go to Temple.
Well, you listen to the coaches, and he has had tremendous experience. He was very adamant that she's going to turn out to be very good.
She has been very good. Kimari has posted back-to-back PRs in the 400-meter indoor, to her best time coming in at 54.95. Kimari Hanna traveled more than 1,000 miles away from home to compete here at Temple. That would be more than 4,000 races in the 400-meter dash. And it's not just the distance. There is, of course, the weather.
Like, I'm used to 80-degree weather, and coming to Philly to it being like below 30, it was like a very hard adjustment.
Kimari's goals of competition goes far beyond the D1 level, as she dreams to one day represent the Bahamas on a national stage.
Kimari wants to be on the international circuit eventually to run for the Bahamas.
I just want to put myself out there to give people from my country a chance as well, and to show them that like it's not impossible to get out, and like you can do what you want to do.
Kimari's success has shown that talent can come from anywhere, even 1,000 miles away. Next up for Kimari is the outdoor season, where she should be a bit more comfortable. On March 19th, the Owls are heading down to Jacksonville, Florida, where the weather will be more like the dead of summer. Live from the Learcore Center, I'm Miles Thurston. Now back to the studio, where Owl Sports Update's Nia Aline has the latest on the high-flying standout.
Thanks, Miles. Gymnastics is a sport built on strength and years of dedication. One athlete showing how that combination is making her junior year a huge success.
Power, consistency, and being able to stick a landing. That's what it takes for a good vault. If it looks difficult, that's because it is. But somehow, Amelia Budd makes it look easy. Amelia's vault is called a Yurchenko full, where the junior performs a round-off back handspring over the vault and doing a 180 twisting layout, all before she lands.
Sometimes, like in the air right before I land, I can feel like that I might stick it.
Sticking the landing is just part of the process. Yeah! With all her hard work through the season, Amelia sees results.
Before each meet, I make goals like prior to competing that are different every meet, and then before I go every turn in practice for my comp ball, I just kind of like say my rituals or whatever in my head and just, you know.
I think Amelia is one of the most consistent on the team, so even her off days are really good.
Amelia is tied for the top vaulting spot in the EAGL with a score of 9.825. This is calculated by taking the 6 meets, calculating the scores, dropping the highest, and averaging the rest.
With the EAGL Championships inching closer later this month, Amelia knows every vault counts. And when it matters most, the Owls hope she will stick the landing one more time.
And the excitement continues for Budd. On Wednesday, she earned the EAGL Specialist of the Week based on her performance in her last 2 meets. From the studio set, I'm Nia Aline. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Nia. It's time for us to take a break.
We'll be back in 90. Welcome back. It was exactly 6 years ago when our Owl Sports Update crew was getting ready for a regular mid-March show in 2020. This was until we received breaking news that just about everything was shutting down, from Temple Athletics to the American Conference to the NCAAs. And this all happened just minutes before we were supposed to go live. On this anniversary, we thought now would be a good time to take a look back at the most hectic pre-show ever for the crew here in TV3 through the eyes of those who lived it.
Temple is shutting its doors to all in-person classes, and breaking news as the AAC is shutting down as well.
We will update you on how the coronavirus is impacting Temple athletics, and that includes team coverage from the AAC tournament in Fort Worth, Texas. Owl Sports Update is live, and it starts right now.
It's crazy to think how much I still remember leading up to that broadcast and everything that followed. We're just college students getting ready for a broadcast of basically the Temple version of SportsCenter. And we're getting ready to get into the conference tournament for the men's basketball team. Temple announced that we were going to go virtual for the rest of the semester. Basically, anybody that lived on campus was going to be kicked out. get told to go home.
Temple University's U.S. campuses will end in-person instruction on Friday, March 13th.
About 20 minutes before, 15 minutes before, so we get word that the AAC is shutting down and all of Temple University's athletics are shutting down. And so our entire show had no meaning anymore. It was old. And this is 11:40 or so, 20 minutes before we were going to go to air. And we basically redid our A and B blocks in those 20 minutes.
I just remember, like, you know, almost in sync, me and Kyle Morello, my co-producer, like literally physically dropping everything from where we were producing from in the booth, and then just kind of running out to the stage area and grabbing the anchors and being like, it's all canceled, school shut down, like a crazy combination of things. Nothing we had written works, so what are we gonna do?
5 of us had to basically be the captains of the entire control room and production room. What are we doing? How are we doing it? Let's do this. There's no other choice.
The AAC has announced that they will not play any of their tournament. The tournament is canceled.
I remember saying to Ray, who was getting ready for his first broadcast, that he was ready for this. I knew that he was ready for a moment like this. I knew I was ready for a moment like this. Be ready for breaking news, even in the middle of blocks.
They were writing scripts as they're saying them almost. You know, the anchors did an amazing job with what they had.
With this news, we bring in Owl Sports Update's anchor, Dan Wilson, who is in Fort Worth with the team.
Kind of like you said, an unprecedented 24 hours here in Texas. We arrived yesterday morning. We were at the arena and everything seemed to be going as planned. And last night the news comes out that the NCAA will shut off the NCAA tournament, both on the men's and women's side.
We were credentialed to cover a tournament that never happened. There will likely never be anything like that ever again. And to call in that day was a great practice for real world, reporting. You tear up the script you had and you go completely from scratch. You can't stick to your plan. You have to absolutely pivot to what people want to hear, which is the news that happens in real time. And that is what happened on that day. It didn't just impact the AAC tournament. It didn't just impact Temple University or even just the country. It impacted the entire world.
The idea that my students in 20 minutes could rework basically their entire show and talk about this really important earth-shattering news, that was a moment for me that I'll never forget, and I still have that picture.
You never know if you can do something like that until you have to do it. It couldn't have gotten any crazier than this.
We were covering world history.
It's a long moving photograph of a moment in time that we will never forget.
We will do our best to keep you updated on our social media platforms at Owl Sports Update.
Stay safe. For the entire crew here at Owl Sports Update, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.
This piece was produced by the good people at TUTV as our station celebrates its 15th anniversary.
Let's check out our weekend schedule around the nest. On Friday, just one team in action, and that's men's tennis. The Owls will be in Providence to take on Brown. A day later, they'll take on Bryan, again in Rhode Island. 2 other sports have scheduled events on Saturday. Women's rowing will be in Jersey for a scrimmage against Rutgers, and women's lax gets conference play started against USF. And on Sunday, women's gymnastics is in the nation's capital for the George Washington meet.
That'll do it for this edition of Owl Sports Update. Don't forget to tune in next Tuesday for a Temple's Hoops season wrap on Courts in Session.
And as always, check out Owl Sports Update on Thursday at noon with Gabriel Linnington and Kayla Levine. Both air live on TUTV. She's Emily DeTerrace. I'm Jackson Batchelor. Have a great weekend and go Owls.